Hello adventurers! It's Luca's Drillets, and today we're gonna have a bit of a different experience in our stream. I'm hoping to make this something a little more regular, but yeah, today we're gonna have a draw stream. So I just wanted to give back to some of my VTuber friends on Twitter, and so we're gonna be drawing them today. Yeah, so today I'll be drawing using Clip Studio Paint EX. It's the same software that I use to draw this avatar. Hey, welcome to the stream. Hope everything's good. All right. So today I'm gonna be drawing. I'm gonna try and see how many drawings I can get through, but I'm not gonna try and rush through all of them. First one is for the first fellow YouTuber who had interacted with me on Reddit and Twitter when I posted up my announcement, my debut announcement. They're a Japanese VTuber, Serizawa Shigure-san. And yeah, we'll see how far we can go and how many drawings we can get through today. But yeah, we're not gonna try and rush. Good art takes time, unless of course you're the kind of artist that whose expertise is in making things really fast. Right, let's get into it. Alright, so yeah, before I start working on any art, let me explain a little bit about my my process and my setup. I'll drag a file over and we'll try and see how we can talk about the process of how we draw this. Drawing while watching your stream too. Hey, it's always good to draw while you're watching a draw stream. It's very I feel like it's a very relaxing experience, and that people can learn a lot from that. All right, so let's go through a little bit of our explain a little bit about our layers here and the process that it takes to get to that final product earlier. So normally I would start with a very rough sketch. As you may know, it's always a lot easier to draw the head first. So that's what I do. I usually start with the shape of the lower face first, and then build up from there, and then have a little rough doodle-ish of the body, and then after the at this stage, it doesn't really matter what brush you use. What's important here is figuring out what you want to draw and having a way to do it, right? And then next would be to do the line art. For this particular drawing, I started using a brush that I found on Twitter. It's the brush is called Pencil Test A by Gebby on Twitter. Their Twitter is Mighty Cow. I tried using it as is, but it seems like the drawing style for the default settings of this brush is kind of not compatible with the way I draw. So I did a little bit of modifications, mostly with how the brush delivers its strokes. Because a reference, let's take one of the more default ones, like this darker pencil. At size 15, it has a slight taper at the start, and then it does a sharp taper at the end. For a lot of people this works, not for me though, because I'm the type that I have two modes. I would probably either like do a really quick stroke or like doodle like this. So something really important to me is for the brush to also thicken at the end when I'm doing sketchy strokes, right? So that if I'm doodling, it looks like this, really rough and sketchy, right? It emulates the look of a mechanical pencil, without being while still having the taper, unlike this brush, the Sharpen 0.5 on the Clip Studio Asset Store, right? So this one's a nice brush, but I don't really use it all that much, and it works differently from this mechanical pencil on the defaults. This one I don't like that much because it's got that bleed through that doesn't look very nice. What I like for my sketches is for the strokes to have some sort of multiplicative effect that kind of emulates how you would do like some kind of light scratching, a little bit of light scratching here, and then you try to add a little more for it on your hatching, but you don't necessarily do cross hatching for it. So you that way you can get very different kinds of different kind of shading. And also, yeah, I do not like cross hatching. It's messy for me when you cross hatch. I usually prefer a method that that I like to call single directional compound hatching, where all of the strokes in the hatch generally are parallel to each other, and then you stack them together using you just stack them together. You have short segments of hatching that overlap each other, like so. It's not the cleanest, but I really enjoy using it for patchy looking like stuff that I want to look like it was drawn in using a real pencil. And I think because I really used to enjoy drawing with a pencil when I was younger. So yeah. For inking, I used I'm starting to use the same one as well. Basically, what you want to do for this one is you want to plan out how you're going to do this, how you're going to do the stroke, right? So I want to go from this point to this point, I can do it in one stroke, and then I leave, and then I start another motion here. The thing about the way I like to do line art is everything is made out of compound short strokes, right? So you got this, you got this, you got this. I feel like it's one of the best ways that I can maintain some sort of level of line variation in a drawing without having to completely break the flow of the line, and also my the range of motion of my wrist and my arm, it's a little limited. So especially with like a relatively smaller tablet, there's not a lot of ways that you can go when you're trying to make like a complicated stroke. This entire hairstyle over here, right? I mean, you could do it in one stroke, but it wouldn't be accurate. You know, you could try breaking it up into 3 or 4 even. Then it gets a lot more accurate, right? And then another thing I like to do when I do line art is this. Whenever two lines join and merge into one, the point where they merge generally has a thicker or darker stroke. For me, it just adds a lot more. I feel like it just adds a lot more weight to your lines, and it gives off a stronger outline, you know, a stronger silhouette. So next, whenever I color, I usually start with filling the whole image with one flat color. In this case, is this sort of light peachy pink color here. I usually use the color that shows up in the majority of the image that is also still visible with any colored background. I could have gone for this this darker color here, this sort of gray. Hello Nexus. Currently, I'm starting off by explaining the process for how I draw, and then afterwards we'll be drawing a Japanese VTuber called Serizawa Shigure, and then and then after that we'll see who else I can draw for as long as we can. And then I could use this sort of gray. Hey Sandy, what's up? I could use some sort of gray, a gray color for this, for the backing color, right? But the thing is, I was using a grayish background here. If I do, and I'm working with black line art, right? Now, if I use this as my backing color, it would be a bit of a problem. Let's see why that would be the case. There. Do you notice anything? You can barely see, right? So generally I would prefer to use lighter colors for my backing color. So that whenever I finish the coloring and I see some gaps, it's much easier to see through this light color. So then, depending on the complexity of the drawing, I would probably start using. I would probably either separate each color by layer, or separate each major design element by layer. So in this case, I went with the design element. So all of the clothing went into one layer. So you have the maid headdress, the ribbon, the maid uniform, and the gloves. All of them are in the same layer. Mostly because it's easier for me to color everything in one shot. If it's done like that, then we'd have the skin. Skin gets its own layer because I don't like it when the skin color interacts with, like, say, this cuff right here. If these were in the same layer and I tried to use like a sort of watercolory brush, it would probably bleed through, and then we'd have a splash of this light purplish color that I use for shading white onto the skin, and we don't want that. So next is the front of the hair. Equin has blonde and pink hair. So for her bangs, I chose to separate the layer as well, since this is our backing layer and this is at the very front in our 3D space. Then next would be the eyes. Also on a separate layer, mostly because it's easier to color eyes separately from the skin. Well, you might be able to notice a pattern here, and that's if you want an easy life while you draw, separate stuff by layers. But if you like paint, sure, go ahead and do everything in one. But I mean, it works, yeah. But you're gonna have a bad time if you're starting out and you don't separate things by layers, or all of your colors will just bleed through each other. But if that's the effect that you're going for, sure, why not? Go ahead. I ain't stopping ya. So the next layer is this watercolor overlay that I got from the Clip Studio store, Clip Studio asset store. I actually have two. These two serve to add more color, very subtle vibrance to your image, or if you so wish, you can push it a bit more, right? And you get something a little more sparkly and glittery. And I think that could be nice, but in this case, I was trying to go for something a little more subdued, a little more subtle, and that's why I chose this color. So yeah, that is how I normally do like relatively quick drawings in Clip Studio Paint. This particular one took about an hour and a half or so for the whole process of sketching and coloring. Usually it would be an hour and a half to 2 hours. Because I've been drawing for quite a while, and some things come easier. Some things are a bit more challenging and take a lot more time. While we're at it, man, I already knew drawing was hard, but not this complicated. It's only complicated if you've like if it shows up for the first time, like a technique shows up for the first time, right? things like this, like the color overlays and whatnot, they become fairly simple, and they become like second nature to you when you do it enough times. So I'm gonna open up another drawing before we actually start drawing, and this is a whip that I've been working on. It's a commission for one of my friends. One of his OCs as a one of his koala OCs as a barbarian. Oh yeah, I know I named it Berserker, but like that's how I am with file names, just you know. So for this one, I've already done the flat colors, and then all that's left to do is to do the shading and call it done. So I'm probably gonna go into another explanation thing. Sorry if I do this a lot, but like it's something that I like to do. Talk about the process of how I draw. Ironically enough, I talk a lot more when I'm talking about drawing than I do when I'm playing games. So there's a bunch of ways that you can color your flats like this. The first one is if you have everything separated cleanly by layers. Again, you see here my my backing color, right? If you have things that are cleanly separated by layers, what you can do is you can color on the layer itself, right? You just do some color on the layer, and then you do that for every single color layer that you have. It generally gives you the most accurate result if you do this, if you separate everything layer by layer, right? But you can also one thing you can also do is have a multiply layer for shading everything. This generally depends on what color you want to use for shading everything, but a lot of times you can generally get by with using a sort of pale purplish color right here. You can go closer to the warm scale or closer to the cold scale, cool scale, depending on what you're trying to achieve. But generally, you want it to be somewhere here for basic, simple two-tone shading. In this case, if I go through the whole, since I have a multiply and it's under the line art layer, it doesn't affect the line art, but it affects pretty much everything else underneath it, right? So in this case, I could pretty much just select each layer, shade, deselect, select another layer, shade, deselect, select another layer, shade, and then deselect. So it's a pretty simple way to go through the whole image, right? And you only use one layer for complicated shading. You don't you can go through the whole thing even with like a gray, with a complete gray, and then you can use your the layers at the bottom to control how you're gonna turn this gray. Probably set it like, no, overlay doesn't work, so just get a light multiply or merge it with a different color, or paint over this color with the transparency on. So let's say I want to have a warmer color for the shading, then we can just go through it. We can just go with this, right? And then all of our colors, our entire color palette is a lot warmer. So it really depends on the feel that you're trying to get with your drawing. ultimately, whichever color you choose is up to you. Just make sure that it's the one that you want for that specific instance. Alright, so we're gonna close that up. Close up this drawing of Equin. Clear this canvas, and then maybe we'll start drawing. But I might go quiet if I might go quiet for a bit if I'm trying to concentrate or something. But rest assured, I will still be reading chat and I will still be interacting with everyone. So yeah, feel free to ask me any questions if you want to know something more about my process. Okay. Nexus asks, what tablet do you use? So I use a pretty old tablet. I've been using the same. I've been using this one for a couple of years now. It's an HK1560 by UG. It's a display tablet. Yes. It's about 15.6 inches diagonal. Something. Yeah, it looks kind of like this. It's an older model of display tablet, so it's got this really thick bezel. It's pretty heavy. The pen has a battery, and I've already replaced my pen like 4 times probably over the course of 3 or 4 years, and I've probably run out of nibs already. I just gotta look for the rest, and maybe one of these days when I get monetized and I start earning a bit more, I could probably get a new one, like one of those fancy new Huions. Hey Nim! Whoa, a triple art stream. You, me, then Caniscart. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Everyone seems to be feeling a little artsy today. But that's a good thing. Everyone has an artist inside. You gotta just know how to coax it out. Before I start, hydration check. Whoa, that's pretty interesting. Did I just spend almost half an hour talking about my process? Oh, sorry about that. I know some of you came to watch me draw, but then you ended up listening to me just talking about how I draw. I guess this would be the time for me to show all the stuff that I've been talking about. So generally when I sketch, I like to go pretty loose with my lines. You're probably gonna hear a lot of clicking as well. That's my keyboard, and it's me trying to undo my mistakes. Hello, Feta. How's it going? It's currently evening for me. I'm glad you could join the stream. Today we're gonna be drawing some gifts for some of my VTuber friends. So I'm gonna use this one for straight inking today, and then stick with. I don't remember where I get some of these brushes, but you know they work. So So another thing that you might notice when you watch me draw is that Wait, what was I gonna say? I got lost in my train of thought. Yeah, even until now, I still use construction lines. Something I want to say is that no matter how long you've been drawing, unless you've built up a visual library to the level of people like Kim Jung-gi, the Korean master of ink, brush and ink, until you have his type of visual library, and you've drawn as many drawings as him at his level, right? You will need to draw construction lines. You will always need to draw construction lines. There is no escape. Because if you try to draw something without construction lines, it's gonna look pretty jank, and you're not gonna like the result that comes out. Process is interesting. Yeah, I love watching other artists talk about how they draw. It's one of my favorite pastimes. When I'm not particularly doing anything on the weekend, I would probably be watching another artist stream, or spending time watching a tutorial and learning some new skill. I really love it when the video has the artist passionately talking about how they do stuff. You know, like how someone would do certain type of line art. And I've gone quiet because I'm trying to figure out what sort of pose I want to draw this character in. Hello Luca, welcome to the stream. I'm glad you can make it. So I guess everyone's coming into the stream to see how I do stuff, right? So yeah, I'll try my best not to disappoint with the drawings that I will come up with. In case you're wondering what I'm doing with all these lines that radiate at certain points, out of certain points in the drawing, that's me planning out how I'm going to draw the folds of the clothes. lurking mostly. I have final stuff is finished today. Hey, good luck with your finals. You're gonna do great. I'm sure you will. So as for me, today was the last day of adventure work at the guild. So I'm gonna have a pretty long holiday ahead of me, and yeah, I want to take that time to rest up and also maybe do some more content that I'd like to try out. Yay, holidays is right. I'm probably also gonna do a different type of variety stream. But that's depending on whether I can get the modeling sheet done. What am I doing for Christmas or New Year? I will be celebrating alone. I haven't gone back to my hometown in about 4 years. Yeah, during that time, I was usually spending the holidays elsewhere, you know, because I was always working away from home, so I kind of got used to it. And so it's not as lonely as it used to be when I was much younger. Because I got a lot of stuff that I can do now. Last year, I had actually ended up discovering the current wave of VTubers, and yeah, that was the time that I had encountered the current wave of corporate VTubers, Hololive and Niji Sanji. The first one that I'd seen around that time was Hana Makia. I really enjoyed her content. Still do, of course. It's always fun whenever she streams with her dad. And then after that, I kept on looking for English speaking VTubers in the Japanese space, and then I came across Hachama back when Akai Hato was still alive, and Hachama had not taken her over yet. So I really enjoyed her nighttime Minecraft streams, and then from there I started falling into the rabbit hole, I suppose. Yeah, I have you guys. That's why I'm gonna be streaming a lot during this time to, you know, stave off the feeling of impending doom brought about by kind of voluntary self-isolation. mostly because I'm working in a different place. That's my hometown. Yeah, you might notice that I'm basically just drawing the same key art in a different angle. And in that case, you would be correct in your guess. That is exactly what I'm doing. Maybe have the hair blow in a gust of wind as well. Flip the drawing again. Oh, Nim, you discovered Hachama quite late and never met Akai Hato. Unfortunate. Akai Hato was so pure and so sweet. She was not a foot-smelling degenerate. She was say so. You know. I'm getting quite used to this music. It's really nice and relaxing. I hope you guys don't mind that this is the only track that's playing. I haven't really taken the time to get a lot of other tracks from Dova Syndrome besides Camellia Flame, which is my opening music. This one, which is the window overlooking all things, and the ending song, Endless Story. But yeah, since I'll be on vacation, I might start looking for other tracks that we can play during drawing streams. I guess I'll frame the drawing up like this. I don't wanna put Serizawa-san in the dead center of our composition. Gonna wanna do the rule of thirds thing, you know? Good evening, potato doodles. Welcome to the stream. Who's Akai Hato? I only know of Hachama. Yeah, we all do. Akai Hato is gone. Except for the brief moments that she ends up surfacing and taking over the body instead of Hachama. Alright. In this case, I kind of want to have the drawing to have a warmer feel, so I'm gonna use this sort of reddish brown as my line art color. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, go back to your junction lines, make sure you darken them so that you have a bit more, a stronger feeling of depth and interaction between this strand of hair, this clump of hair, and the main body of the hair, so to speak. I'm glad you're vibing right now, Nim. Yeah, I just want the stream to be a relaxing and comfy place today, as compared to the Apex days where it's really tense, really fidgety, because we're all trying to, survive. Right now, all we need to do is vibe. If you have any questions you'd like to ask me, anything you want to know, anything you want me to say, feel free to put it in the chat. I'll have a look, and if it's a question, we'll try to answer it as best as I can. Of course, as long as it's following the stream rules. And then if it's something you want me to say, I will see if it is something appropriate to say, and then I'll say it. So yeah, don't hesitate to speak up in chat. yeah, if there's anything you want to know about my process, anything you want to know about my tools, about what else I do besides work on the Adventure Guild or stream. I cannot talk directly about the things I do, like, or anything too personal, but as for any other question, I will do my best to answer it. Hydration check. Alright, let's keep going. Thank you. Welcome to the stream, Taste. Yeah, just chill times today. I hope you guys are enjoying the relatively colder weather. There we go. We got us our little ask me almost anything in chat. Of course, nothing about my work or my personal life. That much is obvious. Let's all be careful with our private information on the internet. Anything you hate drawing or want to be better at? That's a good question. Something I really hate drawing is the joint, the knee joint area, like where like starting from halfway down the thigh, right? So let's say this is the groin area, starting from the thigh, right? And then where it goes down to the knee, and then connects with see, this is why I hate this area, because it's like a weird complicated mix of muscles and bony structures and whatnot. Like, if it were much, there's a lot of ways that you can simplify it, but you know, by no means am I a master of anatomy, but you know, yeah. Basically from here up to here, I really dislike this for drawing this particular area of the body. Like, yeah, the knee and the area surrounding it. But of course, there's really no two ways about it. If you want to get better at drawing a certain thing, you just gotta keep practicing, you know. Let's pick that color again and go to the extreme. Yeah, we got the right color. Yeah, these days in my spare time, I don't draw a lot anymore. If you've been to my Twitter, you can see that it says that I am a 3D modeler, and yes, I am a 3D modeler by profession. I do high-end character art, basically. But yeah, even on my off days when I'm not like doing much, right, or I'm not playing video games, I have this tendency to still be working on my art. And in my case, these days, I usually spend it sculpting in 3D. I'm not sure when I might be able to show sculpting, because for some reason it uses up a lot of RAM, like my system memory, especially when I go really high res. So I'm not sure if I will be able to like stream it reliably, you know, and that gets me worried, because what I also really want you guys to enjoy watching the stream and not just watch me struggle through trying to fix the stream because I fudged something up. So, oh yeah, one thing that I didn't mention during my debut stream about my goals or things that I want to do in the future. One of them is actually I want to be able to how do you say this? I want to be able to be the papa of another VTuber when it comes to like either their avatar or their live 2D model. I mean, I'm already doing it for a certain unannounced VTuber, but like I want to be able to like have a lot more connections with other VTubers, you know, and like be able to make more friends, because the Adventurers Guild is unfortunately in the middle of nowhere, so there's really not a lot for me to do besides sit at home, either play video games or stream or do art. So it does kind of get lonely sometimes. So I try my best to keep myself busy. Nim says, "Wow, stop being so cool." I'm not cool. I am not cool. I'm an absolute dork. A complete nerd. Speaking of which, wait, no, not speaking of which, on a completely unrelated note, one of the reasons why I chose to do an art stream today instead of going for a 3-day Apex bender is I feel like I can talk about art a lot more than anything else. So I wanted you guys just see me at my least tense space, where I'm not constantly fidgeting and thinking about what I want to say next. You know, I wanted a more relaxed, more casual interaction in a space that I find comfortable to talk about stuff, and art is one of those things. Like people who have seen me, encountered me in any other situation, outside of streaming, I have the I guess I have you could say that I have the facade of an extrovert, right? But that's only when I'm talking about things that I'm really passionate about and really interested in. If it's anything else, if I'm in a situation that I have to be the one keeping the conversation going, and it's not something I can talk about for hours, it sometimes gets a little awkward, which is why sometimes I still have like those dead air moments in the stream. In this case, if there are any dead air moments here, at least it means I'm concentrating on getting the drawing done. Oh yeah, let's shift topics a little bit. there's something I want to talk about as well. There's this whole debate about talent and skill, right? Hydration check. And how some people seem to confuse the two together, right? And they tell someone, "Oh wow, you're so talented. I wish I could do X or do Y." I kinda dislike hearing that, or having that told to me, or any other variant where it uses the word talent, because the implication is that you were born with that skill, you know. In the case of an artist, they want to imply that, oh, you were born with a pen in your hand, you know, or a brush in your hand. That's why, and you've been doing this for as long as you can remember. And then they sort of use that as the reason why they would not be able to do it, because, oh, like, that guy's been doing this his whole life. How am I supposed to catch up, or stuff like that, you know? The thing about talent is that it's not a stat. It's not a. It's not. It doesn't show up anywhere in your skill list. It doesn't show up anywhere in your skill bar. It's a rate multiplier. Talent is a rate multiplier. If let's say you have drawing as a skill bar with a progress bar for the next skill level or whatever in your skill list. Drawing is a skill. Being good at drawing means you're at a high level in that particular skill, in the drawing skill, right? It's not that you were it's not because you were talented that you can draw well. I have seen a lot of people get from sorta okay to really, really good from pure effort. I wouldn't call those guys talented. I would call them hardworking, and I would call them really skilled. I do not want to discount the amount of effort they had to get to where they were, and telling someone that the only reason why they're good at something is because they're talented at it is, you know, it's kind of demeaning, because it discounts all of the hard work that's been put into the process of learning how to get better at drawing, or probably, or in the case of 3D modeling or sculpting, you know. Yeah, I'm gonna say it again. Talent is a multiplier. It's an XP multiplier. It's not a stat that's causing the person to get better at art. Because anyone can be good at drawing. All you need to do is understand the fundamentals of art, you know, and learn to do them at an okay level. Like, you don't have to be super great. The mistake of people is the people make is they buy all this stuff, right? And they want to draw. They want to get good at drawing. They buy the best tablet, like a Wacom Cintiq HD, whatever, and all the expensive software, you know. And then they try to draw, and then they realize it's not working out. and they're like, wait, why isn't it working out? Why am I not at that guy's level with all this this stuff? You know, what they fail to realize is that it's not the tools that make you good at what you do. It's what's in your head that makes you good at what you do. But then again, the days where I get super angry about getting called talented, and then I launch into a full-blown rant, worse than the stuff that I talked about. Yeah, those days are behind me for the most part. Just wanna vibe, you know, because there's really no use getting too stressed about it. Talk about it once, and then drop it until it becomes enough of a problem for you to have to speak up again. You know, you're drawing on a dinky little old tablet. Hey, more power to you. I really like it when I really like it when artists try to make do with what they have, you know. For the longest time, I was using a really dinky old 7 or 8 year old tablet that I had gotten as a gift. I was using that thing for 8 years until it one day it just died, you know. Like at that point I had already done all sorts of crazy stuff to try and keep it working. Like I ran out of nibs, the little pen, the plastic tips of the tablet pens. I ran out of nibs. I didn't know where to order them. I thought they were too expensive. So I took a toothpick and replaced the nib with a toothpick, and that was it. That was all I did. I drew with that toothpick nib on my really janky, probably already broken pen, whose eraser was falling off. You're familiar with Wacom tablets? They have erasers on the other end that literally almost nobody uses because the E key is much faster to press. It's much less movement on the drawing hand to do that, other than flip the pen over and use the eraser. So I've never actually seen anyone use that the eraser end, except like someone who's trying out the tablet for the first time. Oh, nibs, I heard nibs. You can't run out of me, I am eternal. Yeah, you probably just time travel. Need to try time travel to get more nibs. When you lose the nib removing thing and you just bite the nib to take it out. I know that feel. I know that feel way too much. Nibs are temporary, nib is eternal. This is the truth of the universe. You cannot refute it. Fetch baby Nim and grandma Nim. Yeah, and bring both of them with you to the stream. Oh yeah. Uh, let me tell you guys about a story of my time hanging out at a friend's house in Japan. So I for the last few weeks or days, I don't know how long it's been, how long I spent there. My time in Japan, I stayed over at a friend's house. This friend was an artist. You may know. No, wait. Yeah, he's an artist. I'm not. I guess I'll not. Let's not name him. But people would come to his place and ask him questions about art in general. You know. And there's this one guy who he looked like he really wanted to get better at drawing, right? And he was the type who would call someone who was good at drawing a sensei. It was like he was talking to my friend, and he was like, "Sensei, I'm having a problem with my graphics tablet, you know. For some reason I can't seem to draw lines all that well." And he pulled out his drawing tablet, because he'd brought a laptop and a drawing tablet to try to run my friend through how he would draw, right? And then when we saw the pen, because there was there were 4 of us in that house, 3 permanent residents and then me just crashing there, right? All 4 of us stared at the pen and wondered what had happened. Like, what events have transpired to make this pen look like this? And so I'm gonna doodle a bit on this the doodle layer. Okay, so a regular pen tablet, a regular tablet pen rather. So you got the top of the pen, and then you got the rubberized grip. Bear with me, because I am trying my absolute best to be able to make it to be able to recount this information to chat. And then for Wacom's you got the eraser nub, right? And then on this end you have a bit of a taper, right? And normally you would be able to see the nib protruding from this taper, right? And then gradually this thing wears down as you draw. It either grinds down in one direction, or it grinds down in all directions equally, until it gets it gets to a point where you feel like you want to remove it, right? And his particular brand of model of Wacom tablet, at the back of it there was this little panel here where you had additional nibs. This thing was removable. It came out, right? It usually comes out, and then you have all of the spare nibs underneath on the bottom side of this panel. And then on the other side, like on the inner side, so if you slide this thing out, you got yourself a hollow, a slight hollow partition, right? And on this side, you can hook the pen nib onto this onto the hole, like hook this onto the hole, tilt the pen a bit, and then slowly slide the nib out to remove it, right? So you can replace this one with a new one again, and then continue the cycle of destruction anew. Now, the problem with this pen was that it had the nib had ground down all the way, like all the way, that it got to this point, and it wouldn't be easy to remove. And we wondered, what sort of things did this guy draw? Like, how much did this guy draw? That his pen nib would wear down all the way to the base, and he didn't realize how to replace it. What he didn't realize was this thing right here, and this thing. He didn't realize these two things existed. He didn't realize you could just swap out nibs, you know. He thought that once this whole thing wore down, you gotta have to get a new pen. And he said that. He was like, yeah, I didn't realize that wait, if your nib runs out, you buy a new pen, right? And we were like, what? And then we tried our best to use the metal plate to remove the nib from the pen. Right? None of our attempts worked. So eventually, I had to take out some teardown tools because I really like tinkering with electronics. I used to own. I don't know where it is now, but like, because I didn't bring it with me to the middle of nowhere. I used to have a set of teardown tools for small electronics, and we ended up having to remove the rubberized grip of that pen. Oh, wrong layer. Yeah. We didn't I used a teardown kit to remove the nib. Yeah, we removed the rubberized grip, and then from there we tried to push. We tried to screw the tapered end out so that we could safely extract the nib and replace it. Yeah. After that, once we'd replaced it, he was really thankful. He really seemed very thankful because like he didn't know how he was gonna continue drawing without that. It makes you wonder if he had looked at the manual of the box of his tablet or searched it online. I'm sure he would have found a solution to that problem. That's why for me, if I have something that I'm wondering about, my first instinct is to Google it, because I want to be able to know what it is as quickly as possible without asking anyone, you know, and taking up their time. But yeah, not everybody is the same, so I suppose we'll just have to be tolerant with people. Hydration check. Alrighty, so we've been running for about an hour. Or less, considering I got sidetracked by my story. But that's okay. We got time. Yeah, let's do a little direction change on this one. Mexus says bro moment. Yeah, it was definitely a bro moment for him. What I liked about that event was his relief, his sigh of relief when he realized that you can swap them out. That meant that he wouldn't have to buy a new pen, you know, spend a lot of money. Because Wacom pens are expensive as heck. Yeah, if you guys want to ask a question, and then watch me completely derail what I was trying to do, and then talk about random stuff and doodle it over the drawing that I'm working on. If you're fine with that, go ahead and ask away. I just have a tendency to be very visual when I'm trying to explain events that have happened. Or if there's a point that I want to clarify. I hope you guys are finding it therapeutic to watch the line art being made. Favorite food you've tried in Japan? Yeah, that's a good question. So, speaking of food, my taste buds have already been completely destroyed, such that anything I ate after that particular food was tasteless and inferior. Everything stopped tasting super good as once I tried out that particular food, and it was something that that artist friend treated me to during my stay at their place. He treated me to in Akihabara to this wagyu place, right? It was A5 wagyu beef bowl, and if I remember correctly, it was like 15,000 yen for the thing, and he treated me to lunch for it because I just arrived in Tokyo at that time. And it was it was served cold because that was how it was supposed to be. That beef bowl with A5 wagyu was supposed to be served, and it had like cream cheese along with it. That was the most sublime food I had ever eaten. Like anything after that, like the way it was seasoned, the softness of the meat, how perfectly it literally melted in my mouth. nothing else could compare, you know. Like nothing. But also one other thing that I really liked, one other food I really liked was the ramen in Fukuoka Prefecture, because I was there for a while. I spent most of my time in Fukuoka Prefecture working. So Fukuoka is known for its tonkotsu ramen. Tonkotsu ramen is basically you can simplify its description as pork bone soup, right? Like it's pork bone noodle soup. Like they boil the pork bone all the way so that like the flavors of the juices get into the soup, and it has this really savory mouth feel, I would say. And the tonkotsu ramen that I tasted at like this random hole in the wall ramen shop in Fukuoka when I was hanging out with my friend, one of my friends who came to visit. Yeah, that was probably the best bowl of ramen I'd ever eaten in my life. Because like a lot of the good food in Japan doesn't always come from. It doesn't come from like the big name restaurants and stuff. It's usually the mom and pop food shops, food stalls, and like hole in the wall diners and places. There was also one time that I hung out with two of my coworkers and someone that they knew from like their specific area of work, right? And they ordered for some reason chicken sashimi. Knowing that raw chicken is a vector for like stuff like salmonella and whatnot. Chicken sashimi. I did not try that. I did not. I went with the regular sashimi. Didn't touch the chicken sashimi with a 10-foot pole. You know, because why would I? It probably would have tasted good, but the number that it would have done in my to my stomach if something went wrong would have been something to write home about. Just for me, it was I would rather err on the side of caution than end up in hospital. Salmonella comes from salmon, so you're good. Haha, not. Is that even legal? Yes, actually. Chicken sashimi is in fact legal. And looking back, I was being pretty illogical about it because Japanese restaurants are held to a pretty high standard by their health authorities. They have to get kept clean. Otherwise, the whole operation just gets shut down. You know, much like every health and sanitation department of every city, they will shut down everything. But like, they're held to really high standard over there. Yeah. Still on the topic of food. Whenever I'm in Tokyo, there's one one beef bowl place that I always go to, and it's like it's a Japanese restaurant. Well, it's a restaurant in Japan. It's a chain of like Japanese restaurants called Nakau, Nakau, Nakau. They have really good beef bowl. Nim says, I have tried pufferfish, still alive. They're alive, the fish was dead. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't want to try. I didn't want to try fugu. The risk of it being improperly prepared is still pretty high. And yeah, but yeah, Nakao, the Japanese restaurant, they usually sell all sorts of donburi, like rice bowl dishes, and some udon as well. But the one thing I really love eating there was their gyudon, their beef bowls. My first time in Tokyo, when I found that place, for the whole week that I was in Akihabara, I would eat only at Nakao. Like, I would eat the same thing for like all my meals of the day. It was not healthy, but like it was something that my taste buds agreed with, and it was something that was easily accessible. So I ate just that. And some days I really miss eating there. So whenever I get the chance to go out, I usually just go to my nearest local Japanese restaurant and try to recreate those glory days, you know. It tasted good, but didn't seem something I'd risk my life for. Did it, Nim, did it taste like any other particular like type of fish? Like, how close was the taste to regular tuna? Yeah, one of these days, if I ever make it back to Japan, and reverse isekai into Japan, flavor pretty subtle. I would say I'd go for taro. That I would risk my life for. Ah, okay. I mean, I guess a lot of Japanese meals, like Japanese specific dishes, they really pride themselves into subtle flavors. It's like I've not actually seen a lot of Japanese dishes that have super strong flavors besides tonkotsu. Alright. So Fado asks, What's your favorite color? If not favorite color to use while coloring? Yeah, that's a little hard for me to answer, but I will try my best. My favorite color in general, I actually don't know, because I use colors a lot. Like, I'm not super picky with the clothes that I wear. But I like wearing dark colors. Not exactly, well, not always black, but like stuff like deep blues, dark greens, dark grays, yeah, dark reds even, like maroons and whatnot. Like generally on the darker end of the value scale. While coloring, my go-to color for coloring is one that I mentioned while I was talking about my process earlier. It's this particular range of gray purples, like this particular scale of them here, because it's sort of a one-size-fits-all solution for coloring, you know. Like if you wanna get something done quickly with like super simple shade, yeah, just use that. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Beto. Oh, based on the rate that I'm going with this particular drawing, I might only be able to finish just this one tonight, because for some reason I'm ending up being really meticulous with my lines. It must be because I'm trying to get used to trying to get used to the brush, the new brush that I'm using. Also, one other thing, for time-sensitive stuff, I have absolutely no qualms with shortcuts, you know? As long as you know what you're doing, and you absolutely need to get something done in the time that you have, go ahead, use your shortcuts, but make sure you know what you're doing before you use those shortcuts, and make sure you can adapt to what you have to do next after that particular shortcut. Because if you don't, it's just gonna look really sloppy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So see this. This is one of the things that that goes wrong. You get pretty screwed perspective on the gun over here because we used a shortcut. But it's fine. Should be, like, because if you're gonna cover it up anyway. Like, I understand this might be perpetuating bad habits. You can always tweak the perspective manually, you know. The reason why shortcuts work is because as people, there's only so much information we can process at a given time, in terms of like our attention span when we're looking at something. If you look at a picture, there's a lot of stuff going on inside in a picture. That makes it difficult for you to process everything unless you look really close. So, in my case, if I really need to do that, I mess with the perspective, or I mess with pretty much anything in that image that distorts how it's being perceived, in order to trick the eye into thinking that, hey, maybe it seems alright. It's gonna look a little off, but like it's not gonna bother someone too much. No. It's never an excuse though to not learn proper perspective. So, you're gonna get good, learn proper perspective. Don't be like me. learn stuff properly so you don't have to rely on trickery to get the results that you want. you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask them. I'll try my best to answer them as well. It doesn't really stop me from drawing. Ta-da! The line art is done. Oh, where are his eyebrows? Oh no. There we go. Thanks, guys. Hydration check. Oop. Uh-oh. I don't know why I chose to do that, but it did. So there's a bunch of stuff more that we can do from here, like strengthening the depth perception on the image by adding more thicker lines on places that overlap other things. But they're not absolutely necessary. They're just stuff that's nice to have. Alrighty, since we'll be trying to color in roughly the same style, but giving it our own little twist, we'll pick our base colors from the same base colors in the original art. I think there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. As someone who's been through the rigors of art production, there is absolutely no shame in doing something like that, grabbing colors from another image, from another drawing, especially if you want to have accuracy. You do not have any good reason to just be wildly picking colors on your own. I could use the green instead, since it seems to be the predominant color in the entire image. Hello, Job. I'm glad you could make it. Welcome to the stream. We're just doing some art. There we go. Yeah, with this it's a lot more visible and easier for me to color, since it limits how much I need to shade on the hair. So I only need to do the highlights. So one of the main reasons why why I get meticulous with my line art is ease of using the fill tool afterwards. Because when I want to get something done quickly, especially phases like coloring, I don't like spending a lot of time in coloring because I'm not the best at it. So I just try as hard as I can to have clean sections in my drawings that I can just fill in with colors with minimal need for cleanup. Stuff like this. Boom, boom, boom. Bam. Bam. Thank you, ma'am. Alrighty, so while we're at this stage in the drawing, I like to take a couple of minutes, I guess. I need to go grab some water. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. Right. Let's try and finish. This drawing today. You know, when I was a lot younger, I was the kind of kid who couldn't color within the lines. Like, when it came to coloring books, I had this really unsteady hand. I still do nowadays. My hand is still really zoomy, and I can't. I don't have super precise control of the directions my hands choose to go. So when I found out that you could do stuff digitally and you basically could undo as much as you want, like there's a lot of room for oopsies, mistakes, errors, whatnot. I was pretty drawn to the idea. So when I was it 15 when I got my first tablet? Wow, that's a long time. Yeah, once I got my first tablet, I picked up art and I never looked back. You know, I always told myself that no matter what, I was gonna do art as a career. Wow. So I tried to do everything I could to make art my career. And then at some point, before I even realized it, it just happened. You know, out of nowhere. Get an email from your big studio telling you, hey, we want you to come work for us. The payoff at that moment when I finally got the chance to do the kind of work I really wanted to do. It was pretty much immeasurable, you know. Like, then after that, I had to prove my value as a worker. So then I'd stay over on weekends. I'd try. I'd do a lot of artwork. Basically everything I wanted to do, so I could keep my job and be able to do the kind of work I want within that field. So that's what I did. And once you finally grab hold of the things you want in life, do your best not to let them go. Unless it's time for you to leave that and move on to something else. Whoops. Oh yeah, in case you're wondering why I don't name my layers, I just don't. Mostly because I have a tool, there's a tool in Clip Studio that lets me switch between layers by clicking on a pixel that's in that layer. Like, I can switch, I can very easily switch from layer to layer using select layer. So, yeah. Alright, now that we're done with filling up our base colors, we gotta lock all the transparencies. I'm gonna switch the music over back to Camellia Flame, and then we'll try and see if we can finish the coloring for this. Whoops. let's use the other method, the single layer color everything method. Right. Oh yeah, before I forget, make sure all of the layers are under the green layer as your clipping mask, so that, much like childhood used to do, we don't go beyond. We can color within the lines. So yeah, even if the music's gotten a little tense and stuff, feel free to still ask me questions. I really enjoy listening and reading your questions and trying to answer them as best as I can. They're very much welcome. So I wonder what's going on in chat's head today. How is your day been? I know it's a bit silly of me to be asking an open question, but I'd like to know how you guys are today. What's going on in the world of my chat members? Stressful. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, there will be days like that, no matter what you do. Like, I'm always gonna have stressful days. Those are some things we just can't escape, you know. What we can do is just try and be the best person we can be during those stressful times. Is it also final season for you, Nexus? Oh, okay. Yeah, that explains it. There we go. I like that effect. But yeah, I hope things start to ease up a bit more now that we're close to the holidays. Whatever it is that's keeping you busy, I believe you can do it. You got this. That goes for everyone who's who's going through their finals these days. You can do it. You can do the thing. Alright. In this case, it's a little too... purple's a little too cold. Need something a bit more vibrant, but also not too vibrant. Oh wow, this stream is actually getting pretty long. That's right. We're about to be done. Yeah, we're almost 3 hours in. With the 30 minutes spent basically just talking about my process, we're at 2 hours and 10 minutes on this image. We can do that. Multiply. Looking good. It's all coming together. Thanks for the comment, Nexus. For the most part, I want to try and get this done soon, because I don't want my I don't want my stream to overlap with Nim's. She's having an art chat as well, an art stream as well. So be nice if you guys could head over to her channel after this and support her there. She's gonna do some what did she call that? Nim is going to be doing doodle tubers. Seems like a fun idea, so might be nice to head over to their channel and check it out. So there's going to be times where you need to get some quick coloring done. Like, you don't have to do super detailed colors in order to make a good looking drawing. Just make things look like light's interacting with them, and you'll be fine. You know, the worst thing you could do is make it look super flat, like it's not three-dimensional. That was redundant, but yeah. Your goal is just to make things look more visually interesting, and to do that, you don't have to, you know, be super detailed with your coloring, like coloring every single groove and the knurling of the hand, of the grip of the gun, stuff like that. Nah, you don't need it. You just need to have that interaction with light, you know, make it have more variations in value and color and tone and stuff like that. Let's pick a light color for our background. Blends in too much. Let's go with a slightly greener color. Sweet. Yeah, we're down to the final touches. A little bit of highlights on this blue leather-like material here. just gonna do a bit of magic on that. Whoop. Uh-oh. And with that, we are done. Let's switch the music over. Yes. Back to the window. Alrighty. So all that's left with this image is to just sign it and hand it over to Serizawa-san. Serizawa-san. Yeah. I had a lot of fun doing this art stream. I wish we could do this more, but there was a time in my life where I did a lot of drawing, and I've caused a lot of wrist damage, so I can't do it as often as I used to. But I'll at least try to get one every week or one every 2 weeks. One art stream every 1 or 2 weeks. Yeah. But if it's 3D modeling, should be able to do it more often. But I don't have anything that I want to model just yet, besides my own 3D. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for this session of our art stream for Drawing Chat. Let's switch over to the Talk Chat. Oh, ow. So, we pretty much finished our drawing stream. Thank you so much, everyone, for showing up to the stream. Yeah, we'll see if we can do more of these little art stream things, and maybe some 3D in the future. As for the schedule, I haven't made a new schedule image yet, but for sure tomorrow will be Apex, and then I'll still be figuring out what to do for the rest of the week. So yeah, again, thank you so much for coming to the art stream, for keeping me company while I draw, and this has been Luca Strelitz. See you next time. Bye everyone. Whoop.